Welcome to a journey through my urban sketchbook. In this tour, I will share practices that taught me how to urban sketch somewhat decently. The sketches that you see here are not my first, and certainly not my last. But before we begin, let me just share the beautiful scenery of this place. There's even an apple tree, and then there you would see some hummingbird coming to that feeder as well. Well, guess what? Somewhere in this video, I caught a hummingbird eating from that feeder. So keep watching. And yes, you would probably see some ducks and some geese in those waters while I'm doing this tour. That's part of the video as well, so keep watching. Just as life's journey is filled with lessons, every page of the sketchbook holds wisdom in what not to do in the next sketch in order to improve. Let me just preface the tour with a disclaimer that I did not ever in my wildest dreams imagine myself getting into urban sketching. So I just bought this really inexpensive sketchbook from the dollar store. Because, I did not want to spend so much money on art supplies because I wasn't sure if this is my art style or not. But I ended up loving this. So this is the very first page, and I literally just doodled and I was not sure what I was doing, and those markers that I used, they're also from dollar store. So you will see the good, the bad, and the ugly. All of it. Like I said, it is a journey. So this little sketchbook, actually I bought it from the dollar store in Ottawa when I was traveling. And the scene that you see there is a pub that was right outside my window, and I would wake up every day and I would just sketch whatever I saw. So all of these early sketches are actually the scenes right outside my window in Ottawa. So that pub over there, the girl over there, I had no idea how to draw people. I can do portraits, but in urban sketch style, I had no idea how to do them. So I was still learning, and of course, watercolor was not my friend, so I had no idea what I was doing. I was playing with markers, inks, and just learning how to draw quickly. All of these people would just walk by my window really, really fast, obviously. And they were going to work or whatever, or a cafe, because there were too many on that street, and I would just try to draw them really quickly. So this is the pub that I drew. It's the same pub that you saw earlier on the first page. I just took some time to kind of add some details this time, and I was getting a slight bit more confident in the urban sketching. I wouldn't say 100%. I would say my confidence was 10% more than the first page. So I started drawing people, and my composition was getting a little better at this point. I knew I wanted to get really good at urban sketching really quickly. So for that to happen, I have to get a lot of practice in. I just took the sketchbook everywhere with me. The scene that you see here, I drew that in the car. While the car was moving, I would just draw really quickly whatever I saw, just so I can build that muscle memory I need, and my hands and my brain to coordinate together to capture something moving, right? So here's the driver who was driving us. I bought this really nice marker from an art supply store in Ottawa, and I decided to give it a try, and this is me giving it a try while I was driving around, or I wasn't driving, I was a passenger. So these lamps I drew as a practice inside the hotel, and the lamps were obviously inside my room, so I decided to give myself like 15-20 second drawing time, and I would just draw them real quickly, just so again build that muscle memory that I need to draw something super fast in ink. So as you can see, I did something in pencil, and then I decided to switch. Oh, look at that. Here's the ducks, or are the geese. They're catching some fish in the lake. Oh my god, the sounds that they make and the splashing of water, there was so much action happening there. It was the best. Anyways, let's get back to our sketchbook tour. So the next page is actually, I took some time. At this point, I was getting comfortable with using ink. Instead of just using, starting with pencil, I'm using pen straight out. It was just a toy in the hotel and a scrunchie and my water bottle, and I just drew that and used the same gray marker that I bought from the art supply store. I think it was $1 or something. You're probably thinking I buy everything for $1. I promise I spend a little more than $1 on some of the art supplies that I have, but honestly, like I said, urban sketching, I wasn't sure if it's my thing, so I don't want to buy too many art supplies. So yeah, I did that, and rest is history. So let's get to the next page. Alright, so this is a time when I wanted to draw people, like make them look like something presentable to the world. So I was just learning how to draw them really quick. Like I said in the beginning, you saw some sketches, but I was not happy with my style, and I really wanted to learn the silhouettes of people and trying to capture the mood of whatever was going on, a story that was being told in that moment. So yeah, these are done like super quickly. Those people, like I said, who were walking by my window, I was practicing drawing people. Again, there was a concert happening, so I drew the singer. There were some people chatting, sitting, drinking coffee, and this is all from that pub. I tried to draw some font, get practice in there, but yeah, I'm not at this stage. I was not really happy with how I draw people, especially because I was not using a pencil. I'm using a marker, or I think it was I don't think it was a micron. I think I'm using a Sharpie for this one. So yeah, I was not really happy with how I drew people at this stage. Again, art is a journey, and you gotta see it all, what I've been through. So here you are watching me do this, and here I am sharing all of that with you guys. So the next one is when I started experimenting with colors. I want to get comfortable with watercolors because I know they're a huge part of urban sketching. Again, all of these drawings were done in a moving car. I took this with me, and the signs and the buildings that I saw, obviously I took some creative liberty to draw the things that probably weren't there in the colors they weren't in. But yeah, so here I am like getting a slightly bit more confident with my line work and using watercolors and stuff, and of course the splatter. I mean, how can I forget the splatter? That's one of my favorite things to do. So yeah, there we go. So again, these are just some of the things that I was drawing while we were driving, and the road signs and the restaurants or the convenience store, or just signs on billboards and stuff. So I was just drawing that and filling up my sketchbook doing that. Again, this is also part of that. It's all done in that gray marker that I keep talking about. So yeah, again, a moving bus and the bridge and the trees and the traffic lights, and trying to draw people and signs and such. So, and at this point, ta-da, I think I started getting really good at inking and getting confident with my line work. I took some time. You just stopped over for some coffee. My Canadians know how much we love our Tim Hortons. Okay, not all of us, but most of us love Tim Hortons, and honestly, thumbs up to their coffee being so cheap. So it's quite affordable. Anyways, I'm not getting paid by Tim Hortons at all, but I did really like that red font, and I did that with my watercolor brush pen. Then again, where did I buy that from, guys? You should know this by now, the dollar store. So yeah, anyways, that's just my schedule for my summer art classes. We don't need to worry about that. So this little guy, I did this one when I was waiting in the car for someone, and I just saw some people chatting and waiting and standing, so I just drew them. That girl in that car, she was having a conversation with another girl across the street, and I just loved her boots and glasses, so I quickly drew her as she was chatting, and that was just, I don't know, it was just so fascinating. At this point, I discovered that I really like red in my sketches. I kind of learned how to draw trees a little bit. This girl who was waiting with her dog Obviously she didn't have purple hair, but I gave it to her. It was funky and I loved it. So I've started to experiment with color, and I'm getting a bit more brave because I gained some confidence at this point. So yeah, this one is when I was again in the car waiting for my ice cream, and I just saw lots of people eating ice cream, so I just drew them. Guys, honestly, like, life doesn't let me have the time I need to create the kind of art I need to create, so I just take the sketchbook everywhere I go. I literally had this sketchbook in my car, and then all of the sketches that you see, most of them were done while we were driving or I was waiting in the car. So this is one of them, and obviously this sketch is done very quickly. Compare that to the first one that I showed you guys, right? So I was getting good at this point, or improving. Not good, but improving. So this one is probably one of my favorites because I took some time in doing that. There was an urban sketch course that I kind of delved into with my students, and we drew each other. This was actually done at our local Starbucks. We just kind of captured whatever was happening. Obviously, the Starbucks does not look like that, and the chair was not that big. The composition is obviously a little off, but I love it. I mean, I love everything about it. I added that cobblestone because I just love cobblestones. If you haven't noticed from my recent works, if you follow me on social media, you would know that I love cobblestones in my urban sketches. But anyways, so that was one of my favorite sketches. And again, this one is when I saw someone at Starbucks waiting in the drive-thru, and I just drew them. And as you can notice that I've started to really learn how to draw quickly, and there's such a difference from those earlier pages that you saw. This is again one of my students. She was drawing something and I was drawing her sitting in the chair. But yeah, so my line work was getting confident, was getting more comfortable with watercolors as well at this point. This I drew when I saw someone driving one of these at Starbucks. They just got off to get their drink, and their car, or this monster truck, was just so cool, so I just drew it. Sorry, I don't know a lot about cars. If this is not a monster truck, I apologize. Anyways, this is my neighbor. She just loves her plants and her garden, and I just find it so therapeutic watching her, the way she cares for her plants. And I just wanted to draw that. She's really in the zone, and I understood at this point in urban sketching that it's really about catching the mood more than being perfect in your sketch. So it's like you're telling a story, and I feel like I started understanding that at this point. This next one that you see is a local coffee shop. Again, that cobblestone, guys, and I took the creative liberty in drawing the windows, and learning how to add your own flair to your sketches. And again, this is not what it looks like. It's quite funky, and even the whimsical nature of this sketch is something I really enjoyed. And let's see. Okay, so this one is another one from my sketch class. I drew the boy. He was drawing something else, and I just love his Crocs. So he was really into whatever he was doing. There was a jacket hanging off his shoulder. So again, this is all about storytelling, so I was trying to capture that. There was wooden sculptures in the park, so I drew that. And then there was a train track going through these trees. It was just so magical. There was a sunlight coming through, and there's a strange owl sculpture standing. And again, I try to capture that story in my sketch. It might not be perfect, but it's catching something. Okay, ignore this eye, because this is just me trying to make use of my leftover paint, because I hate wasting paint. I hate wasting art supplies. So I just wanted to do something. I just did something really quickly there. Ignore it, please. Let's move on. Okay. So this one, I was trying to see if I can make portraits with watercolor. Obviously I failed. I don't like this at all. If you see my gouache portraits, promise guys, I know what I'm doing with gouache, but with watercolor I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to portraits. So yeah, I was just playing. Let's just ignore it and move on. So this one, I did that in watercolors and ink, obviously. At this point I kind of know what I'm doing. I was more confident in drawing and you know, telling a story with my palette and my paint, my squished paint that's been used a lot. I just think there's just something so wonderful about that. Alright, so this one is a whimsical sketch of a Bruce County Museum. If you have been following me, you know on my channel I did an entire vlog on my trip to Bruce County Museum, and I drew on site. I'll link that down below and up here as well if you want to check that out. This was a fun trip because I got bit by an ant. It was too hot. I mean, this sketch was, I'm not too happy about that sketch. I could have done better, but yeah, we had some issues on site, and that's something I learned too, right? When you're going for your urban sketch trips, there would be some issues, and you kind of just, you know, you learn with practice and time. This is me trying to draw some water with watercolors, and obviously that's watercolor is not my medium, but there was a moving boat and I just wanted to capture some things, or whatever. I mean, it's all right. So there you go, guys. That was the end of this tour. Let me know what you think, and do you feel inspired? Do you want to go out there and urban sketch now? Because I love it now. And I hope you liked the video. Subscribe to the channel. Look out for more urban sketch stuff that will come your way if you do. And I will see you in the next one. Oh, wait a minute, I promised you a hummingbird, so here's your hummingbird. Enjoy. Bye.